value for money category as well in the university. The cost of living is much lower in this part of the country than in other parts of the UK, particularly the southeast, London area, which can be very expensive, and some of the larger cities as well. So we do offer a much lower cost of living experience than in other parts of the country. So I'll quickly go through some of the facilities that you saw on the video. As we have our Catalyst, as you saw, all of our library facilities, books, resources. There's lots of flexible spaces that students can study. As you go through the Catalyst building, as you go up the Catalyst building, it becomes quieter and quieter until eventually you just get a silent study space. If that's the kind of environment you're looking for, you've got that. There's vast amounts of sports and leisure facilities on the campus. So you saw our swimming pool, our gym, our fitness suite. They're available very low cost for students to use, and really modern, state-of-the-art facilities that we've got. There are food outlets across the campus, so you can grab coffees, bites to eat all over the campus, and lots of different food is available. We've got the Arts Centre as well, with 2 theatres. There's a bar and various activities that take place there. We have our Career Centre, and really emphasising some of the opportunities and benefits to students looking for part-time work, volunteering opportunities, and also tapping into resources after you've completed your studies with us. And we also have some language classes available as well for all of our students. So talking specifically about international student support and the different experiences that you can tap into before you've even started your journey with us. So obviously we will support you through your application journey with our great colleagues at Study Now, and we will support you on the visa application process and give you the support that you need for your graduate route visa as well, if that's a route that you are looking for after you've completed your studies. We also have our Global Friend Scheme, which is a scheme that puts you in contact with a buddy at Edge Hill University before you've even started with us. So once you're on the application journey, we can set you up with a friend. It could be a UK student, it could be another international student, but someone where you've got a peer that's studying at Edge Hill University, and you can ask questions that you might feel a little bit more comfortable asking another student instead of a member of staff or one of your support colleagues in your country or wherever it might be. We do have English support for students that need to top up any English language requirements before they start studying with us. And we can bring you on a 5 or 10 week opportunity if you need to increase your IELTS by half a band or a full band. We offer a meet and greet service from Manchester Airport and also from Liverpool Airport. We'll bring you from the airport to the campus completely free of charge. So it's just one thing that you don't need to worry about when you arrive into the UK. We have dedicated career support when you arrive, and we will work very closely with the careers service so that we can really tailor the careers support to the nationalities that students are coming from. It might be quite different to get a job in the UK. Your CV, your resume needs to be a little bit different from perhaps what you're used to, and we will support you in making those changes and give you the best chances of finding paid work in the UK. We have a drop-in service in the Catalyst, which is available to students. There is 24-hour support on the campus, so if you, day or night, you ever need assistance, it will always be there for you, even outside of office hours. And if you're coming on a programme to study in the UK, as part of your visa application, you pay a health service surcharge, and you get exactly the same access to National Health Service physical and mental health support as you would have if you were a UK national. So during the orientation week, we've got some dedicated sessions for our students with our great colleagues over in the Student Services team. So we'll have a dedicated welcome event to make you feel welcome and to introduce you to some of the key contacts at the university. We have trips in the first week, so often it's to a place in North Wales called Conway. It's got a very beautiful castle, very impressive coastline, and so you can go and have a day out and socialise with some of your new friends. We'll give you tours of the campus, so we'll orientate you into campus life. We'll show you around Ormskirk, so you'll know where the supermarkets are, you'll know where to go and buy all those little bits and pieces that make you feel at home. And we'll also give you a tour of Liverpool as well, so you've got an idea of some of the activities that you can get up to in the city. If you have participated on our Global Friend scheme, then we will host a dedicated Global Friend event where you'll get to meet your global friend, and the career service does feature again during your orientation week, and you'll have a dedicated international student session on the career service. Throughout the year, there are lots of different activities going on for international students. We have trips to all around the country. So we go to places like York, the Lake District. There's Christmas markets that take place in Manchester and Liverpool each Christmas time, and we'll take students there so that they can experience the UK at Christmas time, and lots of different international festivals and celebrations are celebrated through our global cafe. So we have a cohort of students from the USA, for example. So we celebrate Thanksgiving, Diwali, Eid, Christmas, Easter. All of the main festivals are celebrated. And if there's any festivals that we don't celebrate that you would like to celebrate, then we really encourage student engagement. So we had one celebration, for example, the Mexican students wanted to celebrate their Day of the Dead. So we were able to do that and host that, and they were able to share their culture with other students. And we also have a farewell event. It's always sad to say goodbye to our students, but we'll have a farewell event where you'll be able to make sure that you've got people's contact details, and it's just a nice way to say goodbye to our cohort of students. So I'll move on to our accommodation options for students. So as I mentioned previously, all of our facilities are on one site in Ormskirk. So all of our accommodation is on campus. So you're never more than 10 minutes walk away from one accommodation site to your lectures, to your classes. The price of the accommodation is really outstanding. So it starts at around about £90 per week, and then it goes all the way up to £158 per week for the higher end accommodation. All of the accommodation that we have on campus is single bedroom accommodation, so you will not be sharing a bedroom. It's not dormitory style accommodation. You'll have your own private study bedroom. And a lot of our accommodation, the majority of the accommodation, you will have a private bathroom, a private ensuite that is just yours. In some of the lower cost options, there is a shared bathroom as well, if that's something that would be of interest to you. We have won awards, 2 awards on the screen there. So we got first in the UK for student accommodation in 2025. And then last year, we won the Best Student Home Award. And it really does show in some of the images. And you can see that from the slide that's on your screen now. It's a really high quality accommodation. All of it is really quite exceptional, the standard of the accommodation. So it's definitely worth looking at what your options are for on-campus accommodation if you do consider studying with us. So I'll move on to some of our popular programs. So you can see a lot of the options that we have on our screen here. What I'll start with our some of our teaching programs. That's how we started in 1885. So we've got all of the education, teacher training, those kind of programs that you'd expect from a university like ours. But we've expanded significantly since those days. So you can see some of the other options that we have got. So computing and computer science is huge. It's a really popular program. You can see on the slide there, that is one of our professors in computing on some robotics, with some robotics students. Robotics, artificial intelligence is represented, data, those kind of programs. We also have a conversion program in computing at master's level. So if you have got a background in a subject that isn't computing and you're wanting to do a career change, we've got those programs that can convert your undergraduate degree into a postgraduate computing degree. So that's a really exciting option for students that are wanting a bit of a change. We also have an extensive business school with business, accounting, economics, marketing, a suite of MBA programs as well. And we have engineering as well. It's one of our newest departments. We've got electronic, electrical, mechanical, and other engineering options as well for students. Another option for students is our public health nutrition. That's a very popular program as well. There's other options as well. That's not an exhaustive list at all of the courses that we offer, but that just gives you a little flavour of what we've got to offer. But if you want any information about any of these programs, or you've got specific questions, I'd be more than happy to ask about those at the end of the presentation. We also have a foundation route for any student that requires the foundation route. This is available as a STEM foundation, so any students that are interested in the sciences, the engineering programs, that's available through the STEM route. And we also have the arts, humanities and social sciences route as well. So students that are looking for the business, education, on non-STEM options basically, are available to students. It's an integrated program. So you are required to have the IELTS that is required for the undergraduate program. But we do have we do have pre-sessional programs available. So as long as you're scoring 5.5 or 5.0, depending on which route you're on, we can accept students with an IELTS of the minimum of 5.0 onto a pre-sessional program, and then from a pre-sessional program onto the foundation route. But it means that you just get a single CAS and a single visa, and that will see you through your foundation and your undergraduate program. I am going to stress as well, our foundation programs are delivered by the university as well. So you're not learning at a different centre and then coming to Edge Hill. It's all delivered through our university and through our university staff as well, deliver the programme. So we'll go through some of the entry requirements then. So if you are looking at an undergraduate course and you've got your secondary school certificate and a foundation certificate, A-level, BTEC, whatever route you've come on, IB route, then we can accept, or foundation, we can accept you onto the first year of an undergraduate programme. If you've got your senior secondary school certificate, but you haven't got one of the year 13 qualifications, then we can consider you for our foundation programme. Also, our general postgraduate entry requirements is a 2-2 equivalent in most subjects. There are some exceptions to that, so we will require a 2-1 for certain programs, but on the whole, if you're achieving a 2-2 or above, we'll accept you for most of our postgraduate programs. And for a lot of our postgraduate programs, you don't need to have relevant study at undergraduate either. So if you're coming from a different background, a different academic background, then you would be eligible for most of our postgraduate programs with that 2-2 qualification. Again, there are exceptions, so do make sure you look at those entry requirements, but just gives you quite a bit of flexibility. And then for our PhD and MRes students, we would need a master's degree as a minimum for our PhD route. I've got the MRes requirements coming up on the next slide, so I'll go to those in more detail. But if you are an interested PhD applicant, then we would also need a research proposal from you as well, and your academic CV to support your application. All of the detailed information about entry requirements is on the country pages on the website, on the Edge Hill International website. So please do check there if you're unsure about any of the entry requirements, and you should be able to find the information that you need. If for whatever reason you can't, please don't hesitate to contact us, and we're always happy to support students with the entry requirement information. So for MRes applicants, so this is an increasingly popular route. We do need a 2-1 in your undergraduate to be considered for a master's by research and a research proposal. And similar to the PhD route, we would also need your academic CV and 2 academic references as well. Just note that there is a deadline on the MRes applications. So if you're wanting to start in September, October 2025, we'll need your application to be received by the university by no later than the 30th of May this year. Just some pieces to bear in mind, because it doesn't necessarily apply to undergraduate or postgraduate students, the deadline, but we do ask that you do make your applications as soon as possible, because these programs can fill up. Being an MRes student, you are able to bring your dependents to the UK, and you are able to create a piece of original research as well. So it's a really unique master's opportunity for students. So I've mentioned our pre-sessional programme, and you can enter that with a 5.0, but we do have some specific English language requirements for our other programmes as well. These are our IELTS requirements. I will show you some of our other qualifications that we will accept, but if I just go through the IELTS requirements as the standard benchmark, and then how you apply, and we can apply other qualifications, including the WIEC, and other qualifications as well. So it's a 6.0 with no element below a 5.5 for students looking for undergraduate study. For postgraduate study, we would need a 6.5 with no element below a 6.0. And for PhD and MRes students, we would be looking at a 7.0 with no element below a 6.5. And for WIEC, NICO, O-level, GCSE, we'd be looking for a grade C at undergraduate level, and for students wanting to go on to postgraduate, we will accept a B. Please note that if you're looking at going down that using your high school qualification for English, it would need to be within 10 years of you completing that, we do use our discretion at being able to accept that. So if in any doubt, please get in contact and we can give you further guidance. But they're the general rules for our English language requirements. And for students that are not choosing the high school route or IELTS, we've got lots of other English language qualifications that we accept, as well as TOEFL, Cambridge, Language Cert, Oxford qualifications, etc. This is some of our additional qualifications that we will accept. But again, please do refer to our website. That goes through all of the qualifications that we'll accept in place of IELTS to meet the English language requirements for the programme. So on to the all-important tuition fees. So these are the list that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen is our gross tuition fees. So this is our fees before scholarships have been applied. So our 5-week pre-sessional programme will cost £2,000, and it's £4,000 for the 10-week programme. Our foundation, undergraduate and postgraduate courses, they all come in at £17,000 for the year. Our PhD and MRes come in at £18,000, and our MBA come in at a slightly higher premium of £21,500. So as I said, they are all our gross fees, but all international students will automatically receive a fee discount of at least £3,000. So the maximum that you will pay for study in Edge Hill University is £14,000 for the first year of your foundation and undergraduate degree. If you continue to achieve 70% or above in your second and third year, your first and second year of your undergraduate degree, then you will receive £2,000 in the subsequent years that you're studying. So just to give you an idea of how you can maintain some of the scholarships that might not be available from the first year. Our postgraduate is £14,000 with the £3,000 scholarship applied, and unlike undergraduate, that have multiple years. In the UK, the majority of postgraduate programs are 12 months in duration, so you only pay that £14,000 once for the majority of our postgraduate programs. Of course, there's always exceptions to the duration of the postgraduate, but it does make studying postgraduate in the UK significantly lower cost than some other countries. With the £3,000 scholarship, the first year of the PhD and MRes programs are £15,000, and then because of the slightly higher premium for the MBA, you will pay £18,500 for an MBA course as well. So we offer some really exceptional value degree programs combined with a really beautiful campus environment for you to study. It just makes studying at Edge Hill a really high value proposition, especially compared to some other parts of the UK and some other cities. We do have a very exciting opportunity for some lucky students. So we have been in collaboration with the British Council for, I think this is our third year now that we have been running this campaign. So we offer a great scholarship and we've got one scholarship for 3 lucky students that are coming from Ghana, Kenya and Turkey. So what we are offering is a fee waiver up to £17,000 off a master's programme to study at Edge Hill. So there are a few conditions of the scholarship. So you must be a passport holder of Kenya, Ghana or Turkey, and you must be a self-funded student in order to take advantage of this opportunity. You must also have an application to study this year in September 2025 and hold an offer in order to make an application for the scholarship. The scholarship deadline is the 31st of May. So you've got a little bit of time to be able to make your scholarship application, and we will inform the winners by the end of June if you have been successful. And you mustn't be in receipt of any other scholarship either. So if you're Achieving or any other external scholarship provider, you wouldn't be eligible for this program as well. And we again really excited to be able to offer this program for our students. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some scholarship applications coming through and meet the lucky winners in the new academic year. So I will go through some of this information. It's a huge amount of information that's on your screen, but it's a really useful guide, and it just summarizes some of the information that we've spoken about. And it also allows you to think about your application process as well. So you are able to, you're in that stage of thinking about where you want to study, what you want to study, and then you can make your application. Our fantastic colleagues at Study Now are able to support you through your application process. They'll be able to give you the guidance that you need. Once we have your application, we typically spend a couple of weeks processing the application for you to then receive your offer. We then use a system called CAS-Shield, which you are probably not familiar with now, but you will become more familiar with. And it's a step-by-step program that allows you to make your application for your visas and for us to get the right information that we need, the right documents for you to be able to give you your CAS, and then you can make your visa application. We do need a deposit of at least £4,000 to release the CAS, and then you can make your remaining tuition fee payment in 3 installments. They're due in October, January and April. And we are, one of the great things about Edge Hill is we're really flexible with payment plans. So if you want to speak to somebody about making payments, we do have a dedicated international finance officer who's able to put bespoke payment plans in place for our international students. So please do have those conversations if necessary. But this slide will make an awful lot more sense to you once you start the process. But it's a really good guide to be able to identify where you are And it makes a very overwhelming process. It just makes it much more simple and a much easier way to go through the process. So thank you so much for listening to me. I have imparted a huge amount of information on you all this morning, but it has been an absolute pleasure being able to speak to you, and I look forward to answering any questions that you might have about anything that I've spoken about, or if you want more information, please just let us know, and I look forward to advising you. If not, then thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing many of you, hopefully, in September.
All right, thank you so much, Liam. That was an incredible, informative session. I'm sure our audience has gained a lot of knowledge today. Now we'll open up the floor for questions. If you have any questions for Liam, please feel free to submit them in the chat box, and we'll go through them through the questions. All right, thank you. I think I have a couple of questions for Liam. All right, please, is there any scholarship for postgraduate students for that secondary biology for international students?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So all of our international students will receive the £3,000 scholarship. So the maximum you will pay for a biology master's program will be £14,000 with the £3,000 scholarship applied. If you are interested in studying this year in 2025, I'd strongly encourage you to make an application to the biology program and also apply for our great British Council scholarship as well, because one student will, eligible student, that there are eligibility criteria, will receive the full the full tuition fee waiver. So yes, there are several scholarships available there. So definitely take advantage of those.
All right, thank you, Liam. All right, I have another question. Can an individual with 2-2 grade from a recognized university apply?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So a 2-2 would meet the majority of our master's qualifications. So if you've got if a student's got a 2-2, they will have the academic requirements to come and study a master's program with us. So yeah, we'd absolutely encourage an applicant with a 2-2.
All right, I have another question that says, I'm interested in PhD education. Do you accept English as the medium of instruction?
We do, yes, yeah. It is at our discretion, so it's not automatic, but we can accept English as a medium of instruction as a waiver for English language requirements. So we'll certainly consider that at the application stage of any postgraduate PhD level study.
All right. A question says, any application fee waiver available?
We do, for our postgraduate applications, there are no application fees to apply for postgraduate. We do use UCAS for undergraduate applications at the moment. There is a small fee associated with that, and we can't waive it, unfortunately. But for postgraduate applicants, there is no fee to pay anyway.
Okay, so greetings. I'm interested in the website for research proposal. The slide went too fast. Can we have a copy of the slides to go through some of this information again?
Yeah, so the webinar series, I believe, is being recorded. Somebody please do step in if that isn't correct. So you would be able to review the slides and review all of the information that I've mentioned today would be available on that recording. And there's also information on the research website on how to make those applications. And if you go to our international how to apply pages, there'll be a breakdown of the requirements that you need on there as well. So hopefully you'll be able to get that information back again. If for any reason you are not able or you struggle to find that, please just contact somebody at the university and we'll be more than happy to give you that information.
All right, I have another question. A student with PhD, with HND, can they apply for a Masters of Research?
So usually the answer for that would be no. So we would require a full degree equivalent. So we'd need the 3 years equivalent for HND students. We would be able to offer students top-ups in most circumstances, that they'd be able to receive that top-up year as the final year of the undergraduate programme. The only exception to that would be if a student has significant work experience, then we can consider that in place of the full degree, but it would have to be pretty extensive for us to waive the top-up requirement.
All right. The question says, is IELTS or English test compulsory for English taught students from Nigeria?
No, so if you've got the WIEC or NICO or any of those qualifications, we can accept those as well. We can accept English as a medium of instruction on a case-by-case basis. And also able to accept lots of other English language qualifications in addition to IELTS. So it's not compulsory. It's compulsory to have some sort of English language qualification or some way to demonstrate your English language qualification, but that doesn't necessarily have to be through IELTS.
Okay, so another question says, do you have a precast interview after your offer?
We do, yes, yeah, we do have a precast interview. That's done through a program that I mentioned previously. It's called CAS Shield, and it's a website where students will be able to go through all the different stages of the CAS application process, and as part of that process, there is a pre-CAS interview. So we would need that from students before we would issue a CAS.
All right. What's the turnaround time for applications submitted? So once a student submits the application, when do they expect their offer?
Great. So at the moment, we're currently working at between 1 and 2 weeks is our standard turnaround time. Sometimes it will be a little bit quicker than that. Sometimes if it's a more complex application, or if we need more information from you, it can be a little bit longer than that as well. If there is any questions that we've got about your application, then we'll be in contact with you quite soon after you've submitted. And if you just make sure that any follow-up is done as soon as possible, we can get those offers out to you as soon as we can.
In a situation where I fail my precast interview, do I get a refund?
There are certain circumstances where we will refund study deposits. So if they're, but it will depend on the reasons why you fail the pre-CAS interview, if that makes sense. So you will get an opportunity to resubmit an interview. So if you do make mistakes or you fail it for whatever reason, and then the actual refund, it would depend on the reasons why it was failed, as to whether the deposit would be refunded or not.
All right. Hi, please, I would like to find out if there are available visual art courses for postgraduates, like painting.
We don't have any of the art programs available, unfortunately, at postgraduate level. There are programs at undergraduate, such as animation, and there are some other media programs available at postgraduate level. But unfortunately, we don't have anything painting, art, fine art, anything like that available at postgraduate at the moment, I'm afraid.
All right. Another question says, I'm interested in a postgraduate degree in education and training. If I have significant experience in education and training for private companies, and my MSc is in healthcare management, but not specifically an education degree, can I still apply?
Yeah, that's kind of the application that we'd be looking for, to be honest. I think if students have got relevant experience, and as I mentioned before, although we're usually looking for a 2-2 or above for our postgraduate opportunities, students that have got, as long as you've got a degree, then we will accept that for most of our programs. So yeah, I'd absolutely encourage that particular student to apply for an education program.
All right. Apart from the £3,000 scholarship and the British Council scholarship for students from Kenya and Ghana, are there other scholarships available?
There are some other opportunities available. So they are university-wide scholarships as well. So it's definitely worth checking some of those out. So we have certain scholarships available for students that participate in sport, for example. Some of the creative arts, some of the creative industries have got some specific scholarships as well, and these are available to all students. So you don't necessarily have to be on one of those programs. And there are some subject-specific scholarships as well that we offer. The best place to get the information about the scholarships, in addition to the £3,000 scholarship, the British Council scholarship, is if you go onto the International Scholarship website, there's a section and it's called the university-wide scholarships. And if you click on that, you'll see all of the scholarships that are available to all students from the UK, internationally, and you can see if you can tap into any of those opportunities as well. It's definitely well worth looking at that for any student that's interested in additional funding.
All right. Is there a PG course related to food and science and technology?
Probably the closest one that we've got to that would combine all of those options would be our public health nutrition program. So that's looking at nutrition specifically through a public health lens, looking at food education, the impact that nutrition is having in across the world, and some of the challenges that are growing because of that. That's a very popular master's program that we have available to students. So that's probably the closest one, I think, with that combination of interests.
All right. Do you have a direct master's for HND students?
So I would go back to my previous answer regarding HND to answer that one. We don't have a specific master's to speak of, and usually you would need to do a top-up program in order to be eligible as a HND holder to go onto a master's program. We do have top-up programs available, so all of our undergraduate courses are available as a single third-year option in most cases. If there's any programs that you're interested in, you can then come and do the top up your HND into a full degree, and then you can then study your masters after you've got that, after you've done that final year, and then do your 1 year masters after that.
All right. So graduates of Benin Republic University, can they get a direct offer to your university?
We would take it on a case-by-case basis. So what I would do is, if you are coming from that route, then make an inquiry with us first, send your certificates and your documentation, and then we'll see if you would be eligible. We don't have a blanket answer on that, unfortunately. It makes it a little bit more complicated to answer, but it also means that where we can accept students via the BEN route, then we can consider them.
All right. For foundation courses, how old do you require for the student? Someone younger than 17 can person come in?
No, so for all of our programs, 18 is the minimum age. So all students have got to be 18 at the time that they commence their studies.
I have a question here that says, since there are no available art courses for postgraduates, can one use a BA degree in mass communication to go for an education course instead?
Yeah, that should be suitable. Obviously, that would meet the academic requirements. There would be other requirements to meet as well. So if you've got any work experience and demonstrate your commitment to education, then that would be really useful. But yeah, if you've got most of our teacher training, education, those kind of masters don't require specific undergraduate topics to have been studied. There are some, so mathematics and some of the sciences you would need to have the specific qualifications, but some of the more general education teacher training programs, you wouldn't necessarily need to have an education specific background.
Okay, I think we've answered majority of the questions here, because I see more questions and they seem more of like a repetition.
Great. Right. No, that's good.
All right, thank you so much for that fantastic question. Sorry, once again, a big thank you to you, Liam, for sharing such a valuable insight to every one of us. Before we wrap up, I'd like to invite everyone to our Study Now Expo, which is coming up on the 12th of April, 2025, at Four Point by Sheraton, Victoria Island. You all have the opportunity to meet. Different representatives and also Liam in person. So kindly click on the link on the chat box for you to register. All right, on behalf of everyone here, I thank you all for being part of this webinar, and we hope to have you once again, or probably come in again some other time when we have more valuable insights on different university or from Liam. Do have a wonderful day, and thank you again, Liam, for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining. Have a great weekend.